Good afternoon, everyone. It is Friday. We have reached day 5 of online learning. We are here. Now, before we get into instruction for today, I'm going to show you a flowcap video for sure. And the other thing is, today you have your multiplication quiz. Now, multiplication quizzes, for those that are watching this video, you'll know exactly what we're on in. It's going to be 6 minutes long, and I'm only going to give you 25 questions. Only hard part that may be for you is if you need to type. So if you're not familiar with your keypad, you may need to may need to start working on that. But other than that, you should know your facts. So if you don't know your facts, then that's when you will struggle, and that's when you will fall behind on your quiz. So I know we'll do great because most of us know our facts. So that's the only hard part is just remembering where the numbers are on the keypad. If you have a double digit, clicking 2 numbers, that's it. Nothing more than that. So it's 6 minutes and only 25 questions. You are welcome. I'm going to show you a flowcap video in just a moment.
Yeah. Let's say that you need to put 3 scoops of sugar in your iced tea. You have 5 iced teas. How many scoops of sugar do you think you need? Now let's see. That's 5 times 3. I know the answer is 15. Yeah, that's just what we do in the kitchen. We cooking up our vegetables.
Check it. 3 times 1 is like rice and beans. Well, 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is like a bag of chips. Because 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is like lemons and limes. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4, what's that smell? 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 5 smells so sweet. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 6, what are you baking? Well, 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 7, I'm making a cinnamon bun. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 8, I could cook some more. Cause 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 9 tastes like heaven. 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 10, but now the dishes are dirty. 3 times 10 is 30.
Oh, yeah, we cooking now. We cooking now, stir it up. Oh, yeah, we cooking now. We cooking now, got my ingredients. Oh, yeah, we cooking now. Cooking now, stir it up. Oh, yeah, we cooking now. We cooking now, got my ingredients. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 10 is 30. 3 times 5 is 15. Oh, yeah, we cooking now. Cooking now, stir it up. Oh, yeah, we cooking now. We cooking now, got my ingredients. Oh, yeah, we cooking now. We cooking now, stir it up. Oh, yeah, we cooking now. We cooking now, got my ingredients.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that flowcap video of multiplying by 3. Now, before we begin with our independent work, once again, you do have a multiplication division quiz right after, pretty soon in this afternoon. It's gonna be 6 minutes and 25 questions, okay? The one thing that we're going to need to remember is that this is a mixed multiplication and division quiz. So we're gonna be doing all facts because we are at the end of the year, we're in our 4th quarter. At this point, we should know our facts. So that could be the only struggle, but I know you guys will do great. Now let's get right into this. Now today, because it is Friday, we're only gonna go over even numbers on pages 4 through 6, okay? All right, let's get started. Number 16 says the number line has equal lengths marked. Write the missing fractions. Now, when I'm looking at this, I'm looking at the number line starting with 0, of course, and we see that one whole number in the middle, that number 1. That means there's a whole fraction as well, because that's a whole number in the middle of this fraction number line. Okay, so first we need to see how many parts there are going up to the whole. So after 0 comes 1, 2, then now that whole is 3 parts. So we know that this number line is going to be in thirds. So after 0, going all the way back to the beginning of the number line, after 0 would be 1/3, 2/3. That 1 would represent 3/3. After 3/3, we're going to keep going, would be 4/3. After 4/3 would be 5/3. So our number line should end with 5/3. Okay. Now, as I said, we're only going to go over even numbers today because I know it's Friday. So we're going to do number 16, and we're going to move to number 18 now. Okay. It says Hector's mom brought a striped rug. What fraction of the rug is gray? Now, hopefully you can see it much better than I can. When you're looking at that gray strip right there, you need to count how many there are, first of all, for your denominator, and then you look and see how many there are that are gray. So we're looking at that fraction of the rug that is gray. So let's see how many parts there are total. 1, 2, 3, 4. So our denominator should be 4. How many are shaded gray? There's 1. So our answer is 1/4. That should be A. Okay. Moving to that next question, I'm going to move out of the way here so you can see it. Okay. Number 20. The Harris family wants to give $20 to each of the 5 charities. How much money will they give to all the charities? Use the bar diagram to help you choose the correct equation to solve. Okay, so when we're looking at this bar diagram, we know that when we usually have the total number of something, and the amount of boxes usually comes from how many it's giving us in the word problem. But in this case, it's sort of flipped. Now we're talking about 20 in 5 of the boxes. So that sounds like we're going to do 20 times 5 instead, which normally we would do division. But in this case, there's $20 in each of the 5 boxes. So 20 times 5 equals 100. So our answer should be D. Okay. All right, next question. Now remember I said I'm going over even numbers today. That's why we're kind of skipping through it. I know it's Friday, so I don't want you to sit through an entire thing of the instruction today. So number 22 says, Lisa measured the lengths of her pencils to the nearest 4th inch and listed their lengths. Make a line plot that displays the lengths of Lisa's pencils. Now, when we think of line plot, I've already drawn one. You remember you draw your number line, and then you're going to mark down, you're going to label your fractions or numbers that you are given, and then you're going to mark them using X's, or you can use dots. In this case, I would use dots. Dots are always much more easier to do, okay? So we're going to do that. Now it says 6, we have to look at our data. We have to see what is given to us. We have 6 1/4 inch, 5 3/4 inch, 7 1/2 inch, 6 inch, 5 3/4 inch, 7 1/2 inch, 6 inches, 6 1/4, 5 1/2 again. We have 7 inches again, okay? So when we're looking at this, we have to make sure that we make out our number line correctly. So in this case, we're gonna start with 5 because it looks like it goes from 5 all the way to 7. So we should definitely have the whole number 5 written down, and in the middle, we'll have 5 1/2, we'll have 6, 6 1/2, and then 7 1/2. Those fourths are gonna come in between either before or after that half, okay? So when you're taking a look at your line plot, if you see something that is repeated, you know that you just need to put a dot above it on your number line, okay? And you know how to put a number line in order, so we're gonna kind of move ahead here, okay? Let's see, I'm gonna move out of the way. Let's go to next even number, 24. It says, Andy is making a line plot to show the data below. Which numbers will get 3 dots above them? Now, when we're taking a look at this, I did my best to try to color code it, but I kind of ran out of colors here. So we have 127, 28, 31, 128. When we're taking a look at all these numbers, the only thing we need to do is we need to see when we create a line plot, if you want to make a line plot, if you are able to look at this data and figure out which ones should have 3 dots above them, then great. If not, I would strongly suggest that you draw a number line and draw a line plot, okay? Now, when we're taking a look at this data, the first thing we want to see is we want to see which ones are repeated 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, none. That's what we're trying to figure out. So we figure it all out first, and that's how I would organize it. And then I would go back and see how many dots are above that number. How many times is the number being repeated? Is it being repeated 3 times? That's what I'm looking for, because I need 3 dots above them. And my answer should have been D, 127, 130, 132. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna move out of the way. We're going to go to the next one. Number 26, it says Chelsea's family is driving to visit her grandparents. They drive about 60 miles an hour for 3 hours. about how many miles does Chelsea live from her grandparents. Now we're thinking about 60 miles an hour for 3 hours. That means we're going to do multiplication. And how do we do 60 times 3? Remember, that's multiple of 0. So you write down 60 times 3. I'm going to line it up for you so you can see it. Okay. 60 times 3. I cover my 0. And I have 6 times 3. 6 times 3 equals 18. I'm going to add the zeros that I see. How many zeros do I see in my equation? That's 1. So I'm going to add 1 0 in the very end, and my answer should be 180. So our answer is C, about 180 miles. All right. Next even number, 126. Moving to 28. It says Xavier has a building set with 437 pieces. He loses 153 pieces. How many pieces does Xavier have left? That keyword left is telling us something. It says explain how you can break the problem into smaller problems to solve. We're not going to really focus on that. We're going to focus on the word problem itself. It says 437 pieces. He loses 153 of them. How many are left? Okay, so clearly we're going to do subtraction. So I'm going to do 437 minus 153. Okay, so 437 minus 153. Okay, can I do 7 minus 3? Yes, 7 minus 3 equals 4. Can I do 3 minus 5 though? No, I'm going to make that 3 a 13. I'm going to cross out that 4 and make it a 3. Okay, 13 minus 5 equals 8. 3 minus 1 equals 2. My answer is 284. So your answer as to how many pieces does Xavier have left? He has 284 pieces left. Okay, right? We're on 28. We're going to move to that next even number here. All right, so we're going to 30. I'm going to move myself out of the way so you can see the question. All right, it says Alex is making wreaths to sell at a craft fair. She is choosing whether to make 30, 40, 50, or 60 wreaths to sell. She is also choosing whether to use 4, 6, or 8 holly berries in each wreath. Okay, now when we take a look at this, I know that you can see that this is a multiplication table, correct? Yep. Now, first things first, I want to know how they got 120 for this specific box. Remember, you multiply across, so 4 times 30, and that's how they got 120. Remember, multiples of 10, we cover the 0, and we multiply the numbers that we see. So in this case, if I had 30 times 40, I'm going to cover that 0. 4 times 3 equals 12, and I bring the 0 that I see in the equation. In this case, there was only 1 0 and 30. So 4 times 30 would equal 120. So let's do the next ones. I was going to write it, but it's not going to come out well, so just follow along with me. You can write it down on your paper if you'd like. Okay, so the next one, it should be, if we're looking at this, it should be 4 times 40. If I have 4 times 40, that means, once again, I'm multiplying by a multiple of 0. I cover my 0, okay? 4 times 4 equals 16. And then I bring down the amount of zeros that I see, which is 1. So my answer should be 160, okay? All right, the next one is 50 times 4. I'm going to cover that 0. 5 times 4 equals 20. Bring down the zeros that I see, that should be 200. Okay, moving to the next one over, it's 4 times 60, so I'm multiplying across here. 4 times 60, if I multiply a multiple of 0, I cover my 0, multiply the numbers that I see, and bring down that 0 that I have at the very end. 6 times 4 equals 24, bring down that 1 0, 240, okay? Moving to the next one, we see how they did 6 times 30, because they covered the 0, they did 3 times 6, and they got 18, then they brought down the 0, that's how they got 180. Now let's move a little forward. We see that they got 6 times 40 equals 240, yes. We're going to move along here even more. 6 times 50, all right, 6 times 5 equals 30. I bring down the zeros that I see. I should have 300 for that specific box, okay? 6 times 60, 6 times 6 equals 36. I'm going to bring down the 0 that I see. I should have 360, okay? Moving to the last section, I'm right here with 8 times 30. 8 times 30 equals, well, 8 times 3 equals 24. Bring down the zeros that I see. I should have 240, okay? Next one, 8 times 40. I have 8 times 4 equals 32. Bring down the zeros that I see. It should be 320, okay, for that box. Now for this box right here, 8 times 50. Oop, went a little bit over. That's okay. 8 times 50, 8 times 5 equals 40. Bring down the 0 that you see. You should have 400, okay? Let's make sure they got their last one correct. They did 60 times 8. All right, 6 times 8 equals 48. Bring down the zeros that you see. There's only 1 0, and so your answer should be 480, okay? All right. Now, the next part says, Alex uses 320 holly berries in total. How many wreaths does she make? How many holly berries does she use on each wreath? Okay. Now, when it's asking you how many wreaths does she make, how many holly berries does she use on each wreath, when we're discussing 320, you need to go back into your multiplication table and figure out where 320 is exactly in line with 8. So when we do that, we know that it was 40 holly berries, okay? 8 wreaths, 40 holly berries, okay? I'm gonna move to the next question. Oh, there is no question. There's no next question. We are all set for today. So good luck on your multiplication division quiz. Happy Friday. I will be posting a coloring squared picture much later today. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
When I multiply two numbers, I'm on it. The answer is called the product. So 4 times 2, the product is 8. What do? I play games. I have 6 board games in each room. And in my house, there are 4 rooms. You might like board games, but I have more because 6 times 4 is 24. 4 times 1 is probably bored, cause 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is running late. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3, do you need some help? 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is kinda mean. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5, we're not ending. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 6 is just for more. 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 7, hold up, you better wait. 4 times 7 is 28. 4 times 8 sticks like glue. 4 times 8 is 32. 4 times 9 is up in the mix. 4 times 9 is 36. 4 times 10, now I'm at a party. 4 times 10 is 40.
What do I do when I get home from school? I play games, man. I play games, man. What do I do when I get home from school? I play games, man. I play games, man.
4 times 7 is 28. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 8 is 32. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 9 is 36. 4 times 10 is 40. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 6 is 24.
What do I do when I get home from school? I play games, man. I play games, man. What do I do when I get home from school? I play games, man. I play games, man. What do I do